Welcome to AviatorDB News Briefing. Today is Saturday, July 18th, 2026. Here are today's top stories. United Airlines 2026 Q2 earnings, record $17.7 billion, revenue and fleet push. JetBlue-Spirit merger update, new filing revives antitrust debate. 9 aircraft declare fuel emergencies after BA A320 blocks Gatwick Runway. Alaska Air Cargo A330 returns to CVG after dual bird ingestion. Now for the details. United Airlines reported its second quarter 2026 earnings July 17th, revealing a record June quarter with operating revenue of approximately $17.7 billion, a 16% year-over-year increase. The carrier posted net income of $805 million, or $2.46 per diluted share, while adjusted EPS reached $1.99, surpassing Wall Street consensus estimates in the $1.85–1.88 range. Central to United's growth strategy is an aggressive pivot toward next-generation narrowbodies. The airline is accelerating deliveries of Boeing 737 MAX and Airbus A321neo aircraft to expand domestic and transatlantic capacity. On the wide-body side, United is adding and refurbishing aircraft, including the Boeing 787-9, to drive double-digit growth in international and premium revenue segments. Despite the revenue beat, United flagged significant cost pressure, citing $6 billion in added fuel costs year-over-year. Management said roughly half of those costs were recovered in Q2 and expects full recovery by Q4 2026. The carrier reaffirmed its target of double-digit pre-tax margins by 2027 and is pursuing an investment-grade credit rating within the current calendar year. On the operations front, United reported its best system-wide on-time departure rate since 2021, with record departure performance at its Newark hub. A new court filing has brought renewed attention to the JetBlue-Spirit merger, specifically the antitrust precedents set during the failed acquisition. The filing references the legacy of the 2024 legal battle that blocked JetBlue from acquiring Spirit Airlines, sparking fresh debate among legal scholars and industry analysts over the efficacy of the Department of Justice's intervention. In January 2024, U.S. District Judge William G. Young enjoined the merger under Section 7 of the Clayton Act, ruling that the deal would substantially lessen competition by eliminating Spirit as a deep fare discounter. While JetBlue and Spirit pursued an appeal in the First U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, the parties formally terminated the agreement in March 2024. JetBlue paid a $69 million termination fee, and Spirit subsequently entered Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings to restructure its debt. Recent analyses cited in the filing suggest the Spirit effect, where Spirit's presence drove down fares across competing routes, has meaningfully diminished. Critics argue the deal's collapse may have inadvertently benefited legacy carriers, as price-sensitive travelers shifted toward the Big Four airlines. From a fleet standpoint, the combined entity would have relied heavily on the Airbus A320neo family, though the DOJ maintained that the resulting reduction in seat density would have harmed consumers. As Spirit continues its restructuring through 2025 and into 2026, the proceedings serve as a critical test case for how regulators will approach future low-cost carrier consolidation. 9 passenger aircraft bound for London Gatwick declared fuel emergencies and transmitted emergency transponder code 7700 after a British Airways Airbus A320 became disabled on the airport's sole operational runway. Flight BA 2673, arriving from Palma de Mallorca, suffered a nosewheel steering malfunction that left it immobilized on runway 08L, according to reports from AirLive and Simple Flying. With the runway blocked for nearly 5 hours, air traffic control held inbound flights in extended holding patterns. As fuel reserves fell to critical safety thresholds, 9 aircraft, operated by EasyJet, British Airways, Jet2, and TUI Airways, declared fuel emergencies to secure priority handling for diversions. In total, 14 flights were diverted to alternate airports including London Luton, London Stansted, Birmingham, Bristol, and Heathrow. A fuel emergency declaration does not mean an aircraft has exhausted its fuel. Rather, it signals that the crew can no longer remain in a holding pattern while preserving mandated safety reserves. All 9 aircraft that declared emergencies landed safely at their respective alternates. A Gatwick spokesperson confirmed the runway was temporarily closed due to a technical issue, and British Airways said passengers disembarked normally after the fault. The disabled A320, registration G-GATS, was subsequently pulled from its scheduled rotation. An Alaska Air Cargo Airbus A330 freighter operating for Amazon Air was forced to return to Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport, CVG, on January 28, 2026, after striking a flock of Canada geese shortly after takeoff. The crew reported dual bird ingestion, which led to rapid engine degradation and the presence of smoke and fumes in the cockpit. The aircraft made an emergency return to CVG within approximately 8 to 10 minutes of departure, and no crew injuries were reported. Preliminary findings from the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, identify the bird strike as the precipitating cause of the event. The aircraft sustained substantial damage, and the FAA has also opened a parallel investigation. Investigators are analyzing flight data and biological remains to determine the exact species involved and evaluate engine containment performance during the strike. The aircraft remains out of service pending a full inspection and engine assessment. The incident highlights the persistent wildlife strike hazards facing high-volume cargo hubs, where nighttime and early morning departure schedules can complicate bird activity monitoring and deterrence efforts. That's all we have for today. You can get the latest aviation news at aviatordb.com.